the hell am I beholding? Do you see this, America? Or, I mean, actually, Europe, if you're not in America.
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 385. It is the first day of the week, aka the Kamehameha workout. I am feeling very good right now. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Low trust society. So the main reason why I want to discuss this is because I actually was originally going to do this video last week, but unfortunately I hit my head against the all-in-one trainer. So it kind of got bumped. So today is a perfect opportunity to actually make this video and also to talk a little bit more about other ways how we have grown into a low trust society. So we are now living into that stage. It's interesting that I personally have been to a high trust society place before, Japan, which I will discuss later, and the differences, the stark differences, especially nowadays where I work in DC, so I see the low trust society remnants happening basically everywhere. So we're going to be talking about that and a few other things, as well as low trust in other aspects, such as the viewpoints of other what was once great institutions and things like that have now been sullied by corruption, money, and really pay-to-play players, you know, those types of things. So today we're going to be looking at all of that. But before we get into that, what is a low trust society? Well, a low trust society is a place where people are not really given an opportunity to actually do what we have come to know as the norm, the new normal, as people would call it in that 1 year, 2020, which is stupid, but we'll get to that some other day. This entire idea is that there are now much less trust in the public domains because corporations and just generally people are more of an asshole / are willing to steal products from other places. So we're going to be looking at that, a few other things, the contrast between a high trust society versus low trust society, and a few things like that. Hopefully I've put up a video of the lady questioning why in Walmart they have to have chaperones in individual aisles now. So we'll be talking about that and a few other things when we get some other ways.
All right, so started this day off with dips, which are pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. A low trust society. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this was because this was on the mind beforehand. I was going to talk about this, but unfortunately, things got in the way. Another reason why is because one personal anecdote that happened to me, my car got broken into multiple times, actually, when this entire video happened. Recently, it had gotten broken into where they broke a fucking window, which was annoying. So I had to take care of that before work, which was an excellent thing to have to deal with in the morning. And it makes me really wonder, because I don't necessarily live in a bad part of town, but it definitely sucks. And I've been to bad parts of town where everything is locked up, which is another sign of a low trust society. The video at the beginning, as you can see here, they have literal aisles locked down in certain Walmarts where you can't even do shit and get things without being escorted by somebody else who works at the store, which is the fundamental issue with a low trust society. We can't do any regular basic things without having to worry about either being monitored the whole time or having a literal chaperone with us the entire time, because they want to make sure that the items or products aren't being stolen, or worse, they're used up or just even thrown out in the middle of like the shopping way, because people abandon shit all the time in stores. Say this is basically the final destination of where we are getting to with society. It's only going to get worse from here. I think that now there is really no way forward without having to do some massive levels of actual acknowledgement of the fact that certain ideologies and cultures are not good for the rest of society. And that's the issue, is that we'll never actually stop and say these things because people are too sensitive and are too worried about looking good rather than actually doing good. That's why I made the entire point of the series of good and evil, because I would like to try to establish some type of morality in this world using some backing somewhere, because I think that that's the end of the day what is the issue. There is lack of morality throughout the entire world. It is seen as something that can be excused away, and because of that, the low trust in everything has gotten there. I mean, you can go up and down from the basic person all the way through to the courts, to the government. We have little to no trust in any of these systems actually working for the regular common man. It seems as though you have to have some type of extra, let's say, characteristic in order for them to either possibly work for you or hell, even work more against you. But obviously that can be within reason, because there are certain things that, you recognize after certain patterns keep happening and happening. So it's a little tough of an experience, especially because this doesn't just deal with things like stores and all this other stuff, but as well as within intra-human relationships, we are at an all-time low in trust. It has bogged down into the point now where dating is seeing a low trust amongst people. You are seeing a low trust amongst entertainment even, or just friendships. You're seeing less and less people just kind of trust each other to be honest with each other, because you're worried or scared that they're going to turn around and use whatever you might say, a vulnerability or something like that, for clout, or to try to get money from you, or just to scam you, or do something else like that. And that's really the end stage of these types of things, where now we're not even talking about going outside and shopping and an all locked up place where you have a chaperone. What we're talking about here, like, you can't have a friendship with someone in the possibility that they might fuck you over. So this isn't just that. You are getting to the point now where everything is low trust. And the only way to really fix something like this is to fundamentally look at the cultures that are going around and kind of say, hey, this is not good. We need to change this. Having been to a high trust society, like I've been to Japan, it's such a stark difference coming from there to here, where I have to go ask somebody to release the candy bars at a CVS in DC.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed. None. Exercise skipped. We have one, actually. The rice bucket. I gotta go get my steps in today because I had a busy day at work. But anyways, the main subject matter for today. Low trust society. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because this is a very systemic issue, specifically here in the US, but not just here, and not even just in public spaces, but even in the metaphysical spaces, as the institutions that we once revered and looked upon as churning out the best of society has been dwindled down into much less a diploma mill now. And because of the information superhighway known as the internet, and because people want to do their own research / we can see beyond the walls that once held these prestigious areas, and thus have made it so people aren't as trustworthy of these things. A doctor used to mean something back in the day. Now, not nearly as much. So you see this degradation that happens all around in society, where things just become below trust to the point where you can't even trust, like, your neighbor to do something decent, like, I don't know, make sure their doors are locked, or I don't even know. You just can't trust anybody, and that's the unfortunate part. I can't even say anything to my neighbors in a sense that if I say the wrong thing, God knows what they might do in retaliation. So it's like, all right, we've kind of stepped away from the love thy neighbor aspect of things and just gone into, well, everyone for their own, and good luck out there. Hope you don't get stabbed or shot, depending on where you're at. So it really sucks. Or if you do get stabbed and shot, hopefully you go to a doctor that actually, gives a fuck about what you're doing, or a nurse that isn't trying to kill you. One of those things. Like, it's just a very weird time of life to live in, because dependent on a lot of factors, you could be fucked relatively easily, depending on what's going on in your life and depending on who you are actually trusting out there. It's very unfortunate that we have to live in such a low trust society, but then again, that's the price that we pay for certain people with certain agendas trying to do certain things in this world, because we don't have really any benefit from anything like this. Realistically, everybody gets fucked over from a low trust society, even those who seem like they are getting the ass blasted end of it, because realistically they are part of the problem as well, if that makes any sense. But there's a whole host of issues here, and it doesn't just deal with stealing from a store, but it goes further than that. And I think that the issue will not really be resolved until people start to wake up and realize that there are certain things that lead to these types of societies, and we need to change that, whether from the systemic areas in upward, because even in academia, you can see that the trust for these types, once regarded institutions, is basically nothing now. So we have to basically go from the bottom up and try to figure out what the fuck is worth keeping, but burn the other 90% that's not really worth keeping. But that's kind of a different story for a different day, because people are going to be too sensitive about those types of things. And one thing I've learned, manipulation of statistics is a beautiful thing. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one was well, I was going to do this one earlier, but I had to wait to do this one. But that's just because life got in the way. But please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. And stay cool out there. Actually, stay warm out there. It's starting to get cold now. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!